Hi everybody! So today I'm going to talk about Mother Earth. When we talk about Earth, a lot of us, for some reason, talk about nature as separate from us, from ourselves. If we aren't separate from anybody else in the world, what makes you think that we are separate from the very thing that we are created out of? Are we not all Mother Earth's children? Our bodies are literally made out of some of the substances that we walk on every single day. So how can we say that we are not Earth? Well, it's not your fault. The thing is that a lot of us like to place control over nature, and we see that with people, like the way that we cut down trees, the way that we have literally destroyed nature. We take so much more from nature than we actually need. And you're probably wondering, okay, but what does that have to do with me? Because we're so conditioned to believe that we are separate from her and that we have more power over her. But the thing is, if we are connected to nature, then don't you think that the same way we try to place control over ourselves and our lives, by placing that same control over nature, she's going to feel the same way that we would feel? So our lack of patience and understanding with ourselves gets projected onto everything around us. So this lack of patience and understanding also gets transmuted when we talk about nature, because nature is just like people, just the way people are like nature, right? We don't even care about ourselves. We don't even care about nature. And that's why you see so many people saying, oh, I don't really care, or they'll pick flowers, or they'll just pick up grass out of nowhere, because they don't even care about themselves enough to care about things around them. They think that they care about themselves because they are being taught a certain way to do that. We regain those values for ourselves. We regain those values for the people around us, and we regain those values for nature as well. Now I'm going to say a little bit of how we have strayed from this connection to ourselves, and we've basically had this dissociation from ourselves ever since we started learning the way that things should be. So in society, the norms have changed, and there has been so many advancements, okay? So like technological advancements, people can drive, there are such things as roads, people have places to be. These advancements have hidden us from our true selves. We are truly workers, right? We work to keep balance and harmony with nature. However, we have been taught to just become very lazy people, expecting everything to come to us. And that's why so many of us on our healing journeys have trouble reconnecting to ourselves and healing at the time that we want, because we have to understand that the healing comes when we are silent and we start to have revelations of our own. But we aren't taught to have revelations of our own. We are taught from a young age to listen to everything that we are being told from people around us. We haven't been taught to listen to our hearts. We haven't been taught to listen to our way of knowing. We've been taught to absorb information from every single human being around us that isn't ourselves and integrate it into who we are, and completely in the process have lost who we are. We're taught not to be grateful for little things. We're taught more is better, bigger is better. The more things you have, the more happier you will be. This behavior is being reflected onto nature. The more trees we cut down, the more paper we'll have. The more animals we kill, the more production we'll have, and the more people can eat. This is being reflected without consideration of feelings. And we are literally, even though we're taught that our feelings are our feelings, they are not our feelings. We have been taught, oh, if that happens, you're supposed to cry. If that happens, you're supposed to feel anger within. And this just keeps on taking us away from who we truly are. So by connecting to who we truly are, like I've said before, we're connecting to everything around us. Our disconnection from our feelings and our emotions is reflecting onto Earth. There's some people that don't even flinch when they cut down a tree. totally disregarding that that tree has spirits of its own. And by cutting down that tree, you're not only killing the tree itself, you're killing all of the spirits that are within that tree. We have lost consideration for that because we forgot to listen and to be silent. We have always been Mother Earth's children. Our ancestors have literally connected to the land. They listen to the whispers of the wind. They listen to the spirits. They build relationship with plant spirits, and the plants speak to them, telling them exactly the information that they need to know. We chose these selfish beginnings, known as advancements, and they continuously get passed down from generation to generation. And now we are literally birthing children into the illusion that we are separate. From the moment that they are born, they're literally born in a hospital. They are born in a confined space. They go home in a car. Now I'm seeing that that little beaver on the street that is walking is not the same as me because I'm in a car, right? Our lack of empathy, for example, saying that we have to do whatever we can to get to where we want to be, even if it means hurting other people. That lack of empathy gets transmuted into everything around you. You start to live your life thinking that you have to do everything in your power to be better than everybody else around you, when in the end we are all the same. Our lack of our connection to spirit, which is who we truly are, we've lost that connection to ourselves. We have lost our ability to connect with our intuition, and our intuition is the main channel where all our wisdom comes from. That's why when people try to heal, for example, they don't heal when they try to take over. They don't heal by saying, I'm going to take this medication, I'm going to do this practice, and I'm going to heal. Just watch. And then it doesn't happen. It's because the real way to heal is to be quiet, is to just sit there and listen to yourself for a minute. It is about listening to who you are completely, sitting there and listening. And in those moments of silence, you will get the healing that you need. As long as you listen, you just have to listen to the wisdom within, because this right here, your heart, knows what it wants. It knows what's going to make you happy. It knows what's going to heal you. But if you start looking everywhere outside of yourself to heal, you will not heal. Because all that you need is within. Always. Become so separate from ourselves that we're starting to believe that we are exactly who they want us to be. So separate to the point that we believe that who we are is who we actually are. But it is literally what they have told us that we are this whole entire time. We're living in this illusion that we know exactly who we are. But this whole time, we have not been ourselves at all. We lose the connection with everything around us the moment we believe that we deserve better. The moment that we believe we deserve better than that person over there, or we need to be better than that person, our connection has snapped. And we've been taught this since we were young, to always be better, to indulge, to have so many things in our lives to make us happy. This has led to addictions, consumerism. But let me ask you a question. If we're not asking in the sense of Mother Earth, but we say your own mother or father, or whoever is the mother figure in your life, would you take more than you need from your mother? Would you take things without asking from your mother? Would you be so disrespectful to your mother that you have no regard for how she feels? And when you put into that perspective, there's going to be people that say, well, that's my mom. No. That is separation. Us being so selfish and so careless has led us to so many things. Global warming. It has led us to the depletion and extinction of like plants and animals, forests. Literal communities are losing their land because of how selfish and careless we have been programmed to be. We don't even have a regard for things. These so-called advancements cause numbness to our intuition. It causes us to be impatient. It causes us to be unhappy. For example, you go on Instagram and there's these like feeds full of self-deprecation, and without you even realizing it, slowly you'll start to be like, oh, same, I feel that way too. Because you are feeding your body and you're feeding your mind with all of these emotions and feelings of being someone who you are not. Our intuition connects us to who we truly are, and it can help us to learn who we are and what our heart really does desire. And by connecting to our intuition, we can start to actually connect with the spirits that are around us, of nature. By finding who we are, connecting to who we are, we start to inspire the people around us to connect to themselves as well. And by connecting to ourselves, we start to connect to our intuition. And by connecting to our intuition, we realize that we've never been separate. And by realizing that we've never been separate, we start to connect to the earth herself. And by doing that, a lot of us will start to wake up. And some of us will start to go vegan. Some of us will start to garden. Some of us will start just going out in nature just to listen. So in the end, the whole point of what I'm trying to say is that our disconnection from ourselves, from years of conditioning and being told how exactly to be and how to think and what is good and what is bad, and being brought up in a place where it's normal for us to see people cutting down trees, and it's normal for us to see people slaughter animals. Us being brought up in that has literally taught us that we are separate and that we have more power. But when we realize that we have never been separate, that we've only have this idea that we are more powerful because of how our egos have been conditioned and fed to believe that we are more powerful, and how they've been fed to think that more is better. And by living thinking that we know who we are this entire time, we are causing this dissociation within ourselves. But when you can connect to yourself again, for example through meditation, and you realize all of the conditioning and you start to observe the type of person you are, and by observing you change your matter and your brain, just watch the amazing things that are going to happen. So be respectful to Mother Earth. Go talk to her. Go talk to nature's spirits. And when you're in nature, be kind. If you see garbage on the floor, pick it up. So just remembering to be very kind to nature. Now I already pulled out a card, but I just want to pull it up. There's the other one. Perfect. Oh my gosh. Okay. She wants us to understand the innocence of childhood. And she wants us to understand vulnerability. Now these two cards go hand in hand, okay? Our childhood, remember how I said we have always been curious, but we have always been loving and respectful. You ever, when you were a child, just sit with the flowers all day? Just observe things instead of berating your mind with things? And I'm talking before school. Remember who you were as a child. Remember how innocent you were. How everything was beautiful to you. Everything. And how you would see something and you would know if it was right, and you would know if it was wrong. Children have this way of knowing. Children can also be super psychic because they are so connected to who they truly are. Remember to live life as a child. Innocence, curiosity, loving kindness, remembering who you are at heart and listening to your heart. Because children listen to their heart. That's why they're so kind and full of wisdom, because they know things. They don't go to outside sources to tell them things. They know things. And the next card is the Meadow card, vulnerability. This is about also being vulnerable with ourselves. Like, for example, through meditation, sitting in silence and observing who we are, observing what we're thinking about, Why are we overthinking? And throughout the day, just observing the way that we act, or when we're impatient, and just by being vulnerable to getting to know ourselves, we start to be vulnerable with everything else around us. Be vulnerable when you're in nature. Be vulnerable with who you are. Don't be afraid to show people who you truly are, and don't sink back in when somebody starts judging you, because they are only judging you because they too are in separation, and they too have been conditioned to think who they know that they are. But when you become vulnerable, you start to also inspire people around you. So be who you are, baby. I think that's good for today. It was great talking to you. Love Mother Earth. Go talk to her and go connect with yourself so you can connect better to her. Peace, love, respect. Gotta get it. Oh, I don't know what the next video will be. I'm just gonna listen to my heart and see what it asks of me. Okay, bye guys.